Welcome home, brave heroes. It's time once again for Dungeon in a Box and unboxing. This time it's month 3, and you've all come to pretty much know what to expect out of these, and if you don't, please see my previous Dungeon in a Box unboxings for the first and second months of the overall 13-month campaign. This is the last Dungeon in a Box episode that I'll be doing. I did cancel my subscription. I was able to take advantage of a deep discount for the first 2 boxes. It was advertised to be like something 70-something% off. The third box, this one, I was actually going to cancel before I got it when a rep reached out and asked if I would continue my subscription if they took 50% off. I thought that was very generous and I went ahead and accepted it. I canceled after this box and they offered me the 50% again. So just so you know, it may be possible to get up to that many discounts if you are planning on canceling due to financial reasons. But we'll go ahead and open this up. Jump, as they say, right in. We get a flyer for the Monster Trainer's Handbook, a very funny, very lovely illustration of what looks like a ball capturing a monster after it's thrown by a trainer. This is a 5e campaign supplement setting inspired by the worlds of Pokemon, Digimon, and Monster Ranchers. 2 hardcover books, Monster Evolutions. Love everything about this, but this has nothing to do with this. This is just Dungeon in a Box. I did get an email saying that my third box would contain the last of the standees, with the bases rather for the standees, and it was just going to save on plastic and stuff if they just omitted them from future boxes. However, you can actually opt in to continue receiving your standee bases. So they did give me that option by saying, reply to this email or clicking this button to keep getting them. It is just a conscious decision that you as the subscriber have to make. So I did see some chatter about the bases not being included. I wanted to clear that up so everybody knew what it was they would be getting. This time around, for acrylic standees, we've got these lovely, they're stork griffins. We just got to be different, don't we? We got to be different and a little bit silly. No, I like them regardless. We get these tiny griffin chicks as well. Now, I like that. I do like that. Little cockatrices, actually, they might be. Not griffins. Griffins are lion birds. These are cockatrices. I'm sorry. I know my fantasy. I just misspoke. We have these weird cloud beasties, too. This one is either a bit busty or it's crossing its arms. No, I see the lines. It's crossing its arms. Here's another one, too. It's kind of waving high. I don't know. They're kind of friendly. They kind of look friendly. I kind of like them. We have a beautiful dragon covered in all kinds of ornate jewelry. She's lovely. We've got a tiny guy here. He's just a little dude. We've got a big dude. He's just a large guy. Then we've got some skinny people. Tall, skinny elves, perhaps. Don't know. A mysterious clerk of some kind. She's a hooded figure. And then an artificer dwarf, perhaps, I would say. Somebody requested that we snap these out and take a look to see what the scale is compared to Hero Quest. I suppose, to answer the age-old question, will they Hero Quest? Or perhaps they were just talking about the 3D miniatures, but we'll look at both of those. So, opening up the acrylic bases and just popping one of them out. I'm actually going to be getting rid of this. I don't plan on keeping the box or the supplements. The miniatures I do keep generally, but like the standees and stuff, I don't have a use for them quite yet. So again, it's printed on one side, looks really, really nice, and then it's printed, but the acrylic is translucent, so on the other side it comes through with a little bit of depth, and that also looks really nice. It has a really cool effect, I think, on the board. This is what our Hero Quest Barbarian 2021 looks like up next to the tall, skinny mini of, I guess this would be an elf. Not really a huge difference in scale. I think it works. Our Barbarian is obviously much stronger. Okay, but that's fine. That's realistic. Height is probably about the same as well. If you consider that the Barbarian might be a bit on the shorter side, I think that would be fine to assume. However, the skinny minis, they're really not like in total scale with themselves anyway. They're just representative of entities on the board while you're using Theater of the Mind. Otherwise, this dragon here would not look threatening in the slightest. Moving on, we get the other things, pretty typical for Dungeon in a Box. We have a card representing the hero, who is actually one of the miniatures here, the 3D miniatures, which we'll look at here in just a second. Sister Selka, a card for her as well. And then we've got the QC proof quality control card. This box was prepped and checked by a feisty grung. A feisty grung also checked my box that I got last month. We get the stickers that go on the ship of the first month's box. You're able to put down a tinker shop this time in your ship, should you so choose, as well as an infirmary. Love this legacy style of creating your ship, you're customizing the ship that's taking you to all of these different places in the campaign. And then you get the fragment of aura reading. A character with the compass can take an action to detect one of the following attributes of a creature they can see. Creature type, any weaknesses, any resistances, or any immunities. And this is a special ability that goes on your compass on the backboard to give you additional total abilities. And then this is the crystal that represents the thing that you got when you completed this particular scenario. We have a lot more to go through, but before we get through the Pillar of the Giants in the Voyage of the Falling Star campaign, we'll take a look at the miniatures. We've got the Dwarven Artificer. This guy is the first small mini that I can't say that. I actually really liked the Horseshoe Crab Ninja, the title ninja, as it were, from the last one. This guy, though, I could use this guy actively, I think, in my HQ games. He looks really cool. He's finely detailed. He's made of a good plastic. The Dungeon in a Box minis, I've praised every single one that I've opened up. I like him. I do like him. Look at the detail on him. He's got all kinds of tools for inventing. You can clearly see his eye patch. He would really be great to paint. He's got a telescope in his hand, a hammer in the other, a pair of mechanical wings. I don't think he's doing any flying, but he might be doing some gliding. That's the small mini. The large mini is the Gilded Dragon. And the Gilded Dragon back of the box reads, Aurora is menacing but playful. She has great machinations planned for herself. Machinations, but is clumsy in her approach. She will not permit the party a ride on her back. Her pride will not allow such debasement. Is she on our side? I have to admit, she's not like super much bigger than the skinny mini version of her, but she looks so much cooler as a 3D miniature. So much nicer. Well, you know what? There's a little bit something weird going on with the back of her head. Her skinny mini does not have this problem. She's pretty both ways. She's a pretty girl in both versions. I like her. I do like the gildedness of her. If you only look at her from the front and like from the rear here, look at the scales on that tail. I'm talking about the texture of the tail itself. And the body, of course. The rest of the body, there's texture in the wings. They're not just flat. They are actually textured. This is an impressive dragon. So on the Contemporary Hero Quest board, we're looking at a 3x4 space take-uppance. 3x3 if you do a diagonal, and then heroes will be able to go all around this dragon and be attacked by this dragon on all sides. Dragon breath being a primary concern for homebrewers. But okay, now that we have the 3D dragon, we have a much closer idea of what the scale's supposed to be. And yeah, she does look like she could be ridden. She actually looks like a mount, but of course she's not going to allow the party to do that. Now you know that this comes with tiles that we can assemble into 3D sort of like furniture or terrain, and this one looks like it's going to actually give us some dungeon stuff. And then we've got a 2D map along with our book. This is the Pillar of the Giants book. It is a complete 5e session. And actually, this would be more than one session, possibly, depending on your party and how fast you like to play and how thorough you like to be. And how much time they spend in the tavern trying to date the elf bartender. So these are cloud golems. That's what these happy little fellows are. Again, those of you who are skilled at taking 5e adventures and converting them somehow to series of Hero Quest quests may find this book extremely useful, especially if you've been following the Dungeon in a Box campaign up to this point. So moving all of that aside, we'll take a look at the maps next. These fold out. They're printed on pretty nice quality paper, but you are definitely going to need to use something to flatten them down to get rid of the crease lines if you are planning on having them nice and flat on the table. It's one large map that is double-sided, and I won't pull the camera back. I'll just kind of pan this map around to show you what it looks like. It is a pre-baked terrain. All of these rooms are closed up. There are giant pieces of furniture in there, but that's not due to the scaling issue. That's because we are we are going to a mountaintop of giants and cyclopses and golems and such. And then there's this map, which may actually prove to be somewhat useful if you're looking for a nice end boss, big, bad, huge arena fight, possibly with an enemy that's up here on top of this tower structure. And then we have these stairs that represent varying heights of verticality as well. So yeah, all of that, really cool stuff. Not something I'm going to use in my campaigns, any of my campaigns, but still really cool for somebody out there. And then finally, we have this. And this is going to be another set of stuff I have to figure out how to build without instruction. Let us not worry. This isn't going to be too hard. This is a set of bridges, a series of bridges, I think suspended aloft. It's gonna be a bit of a challenge to figure this one out. No, maybe not. There's a lot of posts here. Okay, yeah, for every post, there are 2 of these little feet. So we punch these little feet out, and then we would be connecting the feet vertically to the bottom of the cutout and the post. Push that upward, that fits nicely. That's going to give us an X shape, which we can now use to balance on our board. If we do this twice, we've got 2 posts, and we can face them opposite each other, and we can place something in the cutout here. And that something could be like this bridge section. So we could go ahead and do something like this. And now we've got 1/2 of the legs we need to suspend this bridge section independently. But I still got to figure these out yet. This bridge section has 2 slots in it that I have yet to have punched out. Rather. We've got a couple of these guys, so we can just shove these right underneath and upwards. Yep, same size. And the thing happened where I pushed too hard, just ever so slightly in the wrong direction, and now the end is frayed, and so it doesn't want to fit in its already tightly toleranced hole. That's not good. Be afraid. Be very afraid. Okay, a little bit of brave manipulation of the cardboard on the top side, pushing it down. Our wood is starting to look like real wood, nice and used and slightly warped. But there's that platform done. I'm just not sure about this stuff in the slightest. Perhaps there is a picture anywhere in here. There's nothing in here, so that leads me to believe that I really need to look into the PDFs and the handouts and such that they send in advance of these boxes. There's probably assembly instructions online that are really easy to follow, such that when you see them, you're like, oh, yeah, duh, of course, that's how they go together. But I don't really have the patience or really at the moment the luxury of time to look into all of that. So please don't let this be a representation of anything at all. However, will these structures hero quest? I mean, I'm always a fan of adding 3D structures to the game other than like the furniture and whatnot. It's a great opportunity to get some stuff onto the map that allows verticality, and taking advantage of that vertical real estate is really just not done enough in the game officially. In my opinion, it's hardly done at all, and it's really not done enough unofficially through homebrew either. Having sections of the board kind of be vertical is kind of a challenge because you have to figure out how to get your heroes up there, and just like engineering how to build a tiny home, not quite sure how you're going to do that without taking up a bunch of other space. Now, if we had like a ladder that we could drop down off the side that was visible to all players, that would make a lot of sense. Now, heroes who are traversing the corridors will see this ladder going up one room, but still be able to walk on the spaces underneath. And although the barbarian's a little bit too tall, most of the heroes would be able to fit without much of an issue. You could still rig it to where the barbarian is clearly on the tile underneath this. Just give him a little bit of rotation, put him more on that tile than that tile, and you're good to go. And if he moves to the next tile, he'll actually be positioned here. Good to go. But if there's a ladder on the side, then they can climb up, and now they're on top. And you can have jump actions to where your heroes will jump across onto new structures and stuff. And there's definitely room for more than one hero. And that's pretty much all I got, putting the pieces on in a way that doesn't make any sense now. Oh, wait a minute. I think I figured it out. Guys. I think I got this. Hold on. Are they stairs? Yes, I think these were intended to be stairs. That's how this probably is supposed to go together. And now there's a built-in way to get your heroes up to where they need to be. Yeah, That makes a lot more sense. And each tile has enough room for an entire hero, an entire entity. All right, love that. Yeah, I'm not naysaying the skinny minis. They're not for me totally, but I do love the clear base idea because it's easy to get a clear base onto a board like this and have even more immersion than if the base was colored or flocked or something when that monster is supposed to be in a dungeon and they've got grassy terrain. But I'm also a firm believer in color coding your factions, so I'm okay with that. That doesn't necessarily take away from the immersion for me. But anyway, that is this month's Dungeon in a Box and the last of the Dungeon in a Box unboxing series. So I hope you enjoyed. This box will likely be combined with the other boxes, everything thrown together that I'm not going to keep. Not sure if I'm going to keep the Gilded Dragon. I think my wife would probably love to paint her, so I think I will keep her. Definitely keeping all of the other large minis that I've gotten this far. I'll think on this guy. Probably will keep him as well. And everything else I'm probably just going to go ahead and get rid of, give away or sell, something like that. On the cheap if I do sell it. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned whether or not Dungeon in a Box is right for you. Thanks again. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, onward, brave heroes.